This month on Pocono Mountains Magazine, hospitality-related jobs are in high demand, and you may be surprised by some of the positions that are available.
Celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the folks in this special town known for its Irish heritage. Plus, we find a couple hidden gems in the Poconos, places to really escape from or take aim.
And take a trip down memory lane during an in-person tour of this former resort that's hosted a number of famous faces. Welcome everyone to the March edition of Pocono Mountains Magazine. I'm one of your hosts, Brianna Strunk, and we are becoming experts in this episode. We are at one of the newest and coolest places near Lake Wallenpaupack. You can come out with your family and friends to have some indoor fun in a socially distant environment. This is Pocono Axe Works.
Yeah, Brianna, great shot. Pocono Axe Works is one of the cool hidden gems here in the Pocono Mountains, where when it's cold and wintry outside, you can get inside and really kind of test your skills and spend some time socially distant with friends and family. Now, we have a lot for you on this episode of Pocono Mountains Magazine, including some other hidden gems in the Poconos. We thank you for watching, but first we want to catch you up to speed on what's been in the news in the Poconos.
It's been a cold, snowy winter in the Poconos, and that's meant big business for ski resorts. The Philadelphia Inquirer reported Poconos ski resorts see their best season in years amid COVID-19 escapes, lots of snow.
Katie Byrne has the story from the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania.
Fox News dropped by for a similar story about snowbirds leaning towards ski town getaways over beach vacations. The report highlighted out-of-state families who own vacation homes in the Poconos. They prefer snow over sand, spending their time at Camelback and Blue Mountain resorts.
When the snow melts, Pocono Raceway plans to go racing with its NASCAR doubleheader in June with fans in the stands. Governor Wolf has eased restrictions on outdoor events, and WNEP-TV had the report.
Our fans are what drives us, right? What gives this facility energy. It's what gives it life.
WFNZ-TV aired this story about the explosion of vacation rentals across the Poconos and the busy summer season ahead. This realtor told WFMZ her short-term rental business has tripled over the last year, and there's no signs of that demand slowing down.
I would suggest if you're going to, especially if it's a holiday weekend or a holiday week, definitely book in advance. Stroudsburg
and Jim Thorpe made the top 10 list of Pennsylvania's most charming towns and small cities. That's according to Travel Magazine readers. The writer spent several days in the Poconos immersing himself in all the region has to offer.
And the former head of the Pocono Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Carbon Chamber and Economic Development Corp., Marlon Kistner, has joined the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau as VP of Membership and Community Relations. Times News had a story about Kistner's new role that she's taken this month here in the Poconos.
Tourism is the #1 industry in the Pocono Mountains, meaning hospitality-related jobs are always in high demand. And you may be surprised by some of the fun, unique positions that are available right now. So let's learn more about this new site created to bridge the gap between job seekers and the region's top employers.
Can I help you? Hi.
Jennifer De La Rosa is one of the first faces guests see when checking into the lodge at Woodloch.
So it's just kind of, almost like showtime. When we open up the doors, we know that you're in hospitality mode.
She applied for her position a little more than a year ago after hearing great things about Woodloch.
So I figured I'd give it a try, and one of the best decisions I ever made, honestly.
Jennifer found her dream job, and yours could be just a click away. This job openings site, developed by the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau, features hospitality-related employment opportunities across the region.
If you're interested in a hospitality job in our market in the Pocono Mountains, here's a repository or one place that you can find a lot of open jobs within our industry.
The site features full-time, part-time, and seasonal positions from entry to executive level, and there's always opportunity to advance over time. For example, the PMVB's Executive Vice President Brian started out as a busser and lifeguard, while Woodloch's Director of Marketing Rory O'Fee got his start as a dishwasher.
It's a great industry that you can start in and start to build the soft skills and grow with. And if you want to come back and make it a career, this is also an incredible industry to be in.
Housekeeping.
From making beds to vacuuming and taking out trash, housekeepers are always needed in the Poconos.
It's very instant gratification. You know, you can go into a room that's very dirty and you can see your work and you can see what you have accomplished by the time you're done with the room and it's nice and clean and sanitary.
The job opening site features an array of positions, from marketing assistants and kitchen managers to mountain bike instructors and even race car mechanics.
And there's a position for almost anybody's interest.
Back at Woodloch, it takes about 1,300 year-round employees to run the resort, which is hiring in almost every department.
So that's positions from bell valet to outdoor adventure, housekeeping, kitchen positions, dining room. There's really a place for everybody at Woodloch. If you're interested in something, we probably have it.
The site is updated as additional positions become available. Currently, job postings are reserved for the PMVB's more than 400 members, although it may open up to non-members sometime this spring. Now let's go see what Jim's up to.
Well, here we are in March, and of course that's the perfect time to celebrate Irish heritage, and especially right here in downtown Jim Thorpe. We're here at Molly McGuire's in the heart of downtown Jim Thorpe, a place that is well known for its Irish heritage. There have been many people who have built up the places here in Jim Thorpe, like the Dolan House we're about to visit, and had spent a lot of time, maybe for the worse, in the old jail as well. And here at Molly McGuire's, where they've celebrated throughout the years this Irish holiday, and there's so much more that we're going to take a big drink and celebrate Irish heritage in Jim Thorpe.
From the moment you arrive in Jim Thorpe, you are transported back in time. Buildings that have stood for well over a century and with stories to tell. Back then, this was Mock Chunk, a town built on coal mining and the Irish.
The Irish built a lot of the town during the heyday, of course, the really wealthy periods from the mid to late 1800s. John Dolan, who built this house, was no exception.
From his bed and breakfast in the heart of town, Michael Rivkin shares the history of the Dolan House and its namesake, James Dolan from Ireland, who rose to prominence in this boomtown in the late 1800s. And Dolan was not alone.
The Irish came over and did a lot of that craftsmanship. Yes, they worked in the mines. They were really tough lives. They got their start here, and they elevated themselves socially to the point where John Dolan, for example, became the chief financial officer to Asa Packer.
There was big industry here, and for many of the Irish immigrants, they worked in the mines.
Lots of deaths in the coal mines. People struggled to eat, struggled to make a living. Sadly, the social systems were against them.
And nowhere is that tale of the struggle for the Irish more evident than at the Old Jail Museum, still intact and open for tours during the warmer months. Blaine Dart is now steward of this historic property where the infamous Molly McGuire's were hung.
The Molly McGuire's were a group who came over from Ireland. They were coal miners, and they were actually convicted of murder down in the mines.
There was even a major motion picture filmed in Jim Thorpe about the whole ordeal, starring Sean Connery. The story still haunts the jail, and the memory of what some believe was an injustice.
Most of them are perceived as victims. Now, we don't know 100% if they are innocent or guilty. There has been much evidence recently discovered that they are innocent, and then some are obviously guilty. I believe personally that some were innocent.
There's even a popular pub in the center of town bearing their name in one of the town's oldest standing buildings.
The miners naturally were hung up the street in the old jail, which is now a museum. And yeah, I mean, this whole town is basically Irish-German, as all the history books will tell you.
For history enthusiasts, this jail with its lasting impression of those who went before, and this town are a perfect fit for celebrating that Irish heritage. Visitors can come in touch with places of historical significance that have been preserved for generations.
I think it's unique that we keep that. A great example is the jail, Carbon County Jail. We all know what happened at the jail with the hanging of the Molly Maguires. That's got to be preserved, and that's got to be told to our children and our children's children and grandchildren so that things like that don't ever happen again.
Jim Thorpe's mayor is quick to point out that there's still a strong Irish community in town, having held an annual St. Patrick's Parade for many years, and now shifting to an annual festival, likely next year.
People in Jim Thorpe are extremely proud of their Irish heritage.
We hope to bring that back for 2022, and one more way to celebrate the heritage of the town and the Irish who built it.
A historic town, what it is today thanks in part to the Irish men and women who sacrificed so much to make life better for future generations. Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network. Earth Day is a month away, and this town in the Poconos is where the American conservation movement got its start. We'll find out how, coming up a bit later on Pocono Mountains Magazine.
From a booming resort to a boxing training camp and a printing press, history is alive here in Delaware Water Gap, and we'll tell you about a historic tour you can take.
And then, hidden gems of the Poconos, 2 spots where you can do something a little different than you can at home.
Isn't it comforting to be around things we know, experiences that are tried and true? They give us a feeling of safety and comfort. This is where we can get away from it all. It's time to be happy again and have fun. We've always been here. You and your family's safety is our first priority, and it always will be. Feel the comfort again when you visit the Pocono Mountains. Find us at PoconoMountains.com.
It typically takes 10 plus years to develop a vaccine. The COVID-19 vaccines, less than a year. How'd that happen?
It's a huge and historic feat, requiring global cooperation in a way we've never seen before.
Rest assured, the vaccine is safe. I've received it, and so have many of my colleagues.
Essential steps weren't skipped.
Parts of the process were just done simultaneously.
To beat COVID, we all have to do our part. Visit PoconoMountains.com/COVID-19.
Welcome back to Pocono Mountains Magazine. I'm Jim Hamill here in downtown Honesdale, and spring is in the air. Finally, spring arrives this March, and behind me is the beautiful Lackawaxen River. There's so much that you can do on the river, from fishing to boating, and now there's a new effort underway to develop several river accesses for people to launch kayaks or boats. 2 here in Honesdale, 1 in White Mills on the way to Hawley, where there's already 1 completed. And so the effort is asking for donations to match grant funding that's available through the state. And that way, getting on the river here in Honesdale, in White Mills, and Hawley will be ever more a reality.
The overall scope of the Lackawaxen River Trail project is to connect Honesdale, White Mills, and Hawley communities together by land, rail, and water. The water trail will be constructed first, with 5 river access points in Honesdale, White Mills, and Hawley. The Vium Foundation has given us a challenge grant of $40,000 that we must raise and match. And that money will go to an application for the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission and DCNR for funding for this project. The planning's already been done, the site plans are complete, and we are ready to go.
It's just so exciting to be able to access the Lackawaxen in a much safer and easier way. So these river access points in town and in White Mills will just be a great destination for my family and many families living here locally and visiting.
So I'm down here at the confluence of the Lackawaxen River and the Dyeberry Creek. Where I'm standing will be the first site on the Lackawaxen River Trail. You can imagine people coming down here and putting in their canoes and their kayaks, standing in the river to go fishing for the trout that the Fish and Boat Commission stock, or just enjoying this beautiful scenery. Imagine it being green, imagine it being warm, imagine there being picnic tables and park benches to sit and enjoy. For the families that can walk here, the senior citizens who live a block away, and everybody in town and all of the visitors. This is just going to be a remarkable place.
If you're interested in donating to support this project, you can make a donation on waynefoundation.org or visit the Facebook page at Lackawaxen River Trails.
We do need donations to help meet matching grant requirements.
If you are able, give what you can. It's a terrific project for our community.
Now is the time for you to get in the queue. Coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine, we sit down with a COVID-19 vaccine expert to talk all about it.
I'm Jonathan. I got the shot.
I'm Luce. I got the shot.
I'm Dr. Cruz, and I got the shot.
It's safe, it's free, and it's our best shot at getting our lives back.
Our hospitals are registering patients online for when you qualify for the next phase of vaccine rollout.
And sooner than you think. Go to PoconoMountains.com/COVID19.
You can find out how to get signed up.
And when it's time, get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Welcome back to this edition of Pocono Mountains Magazine. I'm Brianna Strunk. In this next segment, we're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine, the steps to make it more accessible to us, the general public, and the importance of getting in the queue, no matter what your age. Joining us now to talk about it virtually is Dr. William Kors, Chief Medical Officer of Lehigh Valley Hospital, Pocono. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, and since the discussion about vaccines is always so fast moving, we should note that this is being recorded in late February. So Dr. Kors, let's jump right in. It is important for everyone to get in the queue, but what exactly does that mean?
So getting in the queue means registering to have the vaccination when it becomes time for your age group or risk category to receive the vaccine. So even though it may not be the time now for your age group or your conditions to qualify for the vaccination, it's still important to sign up so that when the time does come, you're in our queue, we're ready to go, and we can get this accomplished.
Great information. And patients with an LVHN account are already pre-registered for the vaccine. They will be automatically contacted when it's time for them to get vaccinated and schedule an appointment. I personally am an LVHN patient, and I went online and filled out a brief questionnaire to provide some more information. It took less than 2 minutes. It was very easy. But for somebody who's not an LVHN patient, what is the process like for them to sign up?
So we will vaccinate anyone. We're recommending that everybody set up an account, as you mentioned, on mylvhn.org. There's a tab regarding vaccinations. It'll guide you to provide some basic information. That gets you into the queue. So whether you're a patient of Lehigh Valley Health Network or not, we will certainly put you in the queue for vaccinations, provided that account is set up so that we have a waiting contact you when the time comes.
And realistically, there are some people who do not use technology. What should they do? Is there a phone number they can call, or is it recommended to not call and overwhelm the phone lines?
No, we fully recognize that some people are tech savvy and some people are not, regardless of age. My 92 mother-in-law puts me to shame when she goes on the internet. But for those who prefer not to or cannot or don't have access to a computer, they can call 833-584-6283 and provide the information to register, which also will put people into the queue.
Great information. And we're hearing a lot about limited supply. It's affecting a lot of appointments across the nation. How is LVHN dealing with that?
So we're as frustrated and disappointed as people out there waiting for the vaccination. So at Lehigh Valley Health Network, we actually have the capability of doing up to 30,000 injections a week. We just don't have the supply. We use everything that is sent to us. We meet regularly with the government officials and Department of Health regarding securing access to supply and increasing the amount of vaccine that is provided. And I will tell you that we have just made a firm commitment that give us the vaccine and we'll put it in people's arms. We have the capability to do that. It's frustrating to us to be unable to do as much as we want to, when we want to, but we're working with all of them to make sure that we get this done.
And once the vaccine is more widely available, even to the general public, LVHN has pledged to provide it for free, correct?
Well, that is correct. That's the 80,000 doses that we've given so far. Of course, that was last week. It could be more like 90,000 now. They are given free.
Perfect. And Dr. Kors, currently experts are saying that the vaccine may not be available to the general public until this summer. And the general public, of course, means non-essential workers under the age of 65 with no health conditions. So while waiting, is it really important for people in that category to be patient?
Yeah, I know it's very hard to be patient. Look, we've been doing this for a year now, right? So March, April, that's when we really saw the first spike in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Everybody's tired. Everybody's impatient. Everybody wants to get on with it. But we're all in the same boat together. And as long as we stick together, we'll get through this. So I just would tell people that we are making every effort we can to get the vaccinations and put it in people's arms. And there's a lot of factors in supply and distribution and state governments and different regulations in one state compared to another. We're trying to navigate through all this and make sure that we are able, ultimately and as soon as possible, to give everyone the protection from the vaccination.
Great, so patience is key. And Dr. Kors, it's no secret that a lot of people have concerns and hesitations about the vaccine. I mean, there is a lot of myths and misinformation out there. So what would you tell somebody who might be on the fence about getting vaccinated?
So one of the things that I've heard is, oh, this was developed so quickly, and they use the term Operation Warp Speed, which some people thought was a great term and some people thought was an awful term. But here's the fact of the matter when you peel it back a little bit. Pfizer partnered with a company called BioNTech, and they're a German company that was started in 2002. And they have been working on these messenger RNA treatments for close to 2 decades, developing the antibodies and these specialized treatments for cancer and autoimmune diseases. So taking it the next step to the development of the vaccine based on that same technology actually was not a big stretch. The second company is Moderna, which is a U.S. company based in Cambridge, Massachusetts, that was established in 2010. So again, you have another company that has been working on these technologies for 10 or 11 years. So these are well thought out, scientifically based treatments that were developed. And I can only say, this is the hope that how we get past this pandemic. The vaccination is remarkably effective and remarkably safe. I have thoroughly researched it. Believe me, everybody in my family will get it when their time comes. And I just think it's an obligation that we have to ourselves, to our family, and to our communities to protect each other, get this thing under control, and move on.
And you got both doses of the vaccine. There seems to be a lot of people out there that are nervous about the potential side effects of the vaccine, but having mild side effects is actually a good thing, right?
So, yeah, in an ironic kind of way when you think about it. So first of all, the incidence, and they've given, this is based on millions of doses across the country now, very, very, very low incidence of side effects. Does that mean that there's no side effects? Of course not. The most common one, quite frankly, seems to be following the second injection, where people may just feel a little funky or off for a day or so. To me, that's a great sign. My body is saying, oh good, you're producing antibody. You got this vaccine. You're now developing these protective levels. And one day of a little bit of malaise and feeling tired is nothing compared to what we saw with the people who were hospitalized over the course of the past year with COVID. So give me that one day of feeling not so good. I'm okay with it.
Thank you, Dr. Kors from Lehigh Valley Hospital, Pocono, for joining us. The message, get in the queue, it's safe, so sign up. Speaking of COVID-19, this month last year is when the pandemic began. And of course, all of our lives have been changed ever since. On March 5th, Wayne Memorial Hospital arranged a community bell ringing. The goal, to honor the lives lost, honor our brave healthcare heroes, and to offer a glimmer of hope that with the vaccine, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
I never expecting that was my heart.
It's a very technical operation. It's an open heart. We're in the Poconos, so the fact that you guys saved my wife's life, it's amazing.
In healthcare, we've shown many, many times that if you have a caring partner, it's a lot easier.
When we had the need, you guys answered the call.
What's in a promise? It's a way to say that we care. With the Pocono Promise, we're saying that you and your family come first. You and your comfort. You and your experience. And oh, by the way, we want you to have fun. It's the best way to rejuvenate yourself, and it's older than, well, the hills. We've always been here, and we always will be. Feel the comfort again when you visit the Pocono Mountains. Find us and the Pocono Promise at PoconoMountains.com.
From worshipers to war heroes, this former church in Mount Pocono has sat empty for years, but now the building is getting new life. Mount Pocono's American Legion Post 903 has operated from this van the last 10 years.
So wherever the van was, that's where our post was.
But soon, the organization will have a permanent home.
And I don't think there's anywhere else in the country that has what we're planning to do here.
It's going to be unique.
This former church off Fairview Avenue will house a museum with artifacts from various war eras and conflicts, plus a replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall.
You only learn through experience and through knowledge, through books, through museums.
Plans for the basement include a kitchen and hall, which veteran groups and other organizations like the Boy Scouts can use as meeting space. This property will be called the Thomas Bowditch Veterans Education Center and Museum in honor of the post's late commander. Tom Bowditch helped found American Legion Post 903 and passed away from health complications in February 2020.
No, I think he'd be very pleased about what we're doing here. I think he'd be very happy to see that we're actually moving forward with a project like this, and especially being named after him.
The Legion also purchased this former rectory right next door. It will serve as a hub for veteran services, with offices for various veteran organizations under one roof and temporary living space for homeless veterans.
We all have a piece of this puzzle, but by bringing that puzzle together as one picture is going to assist and help all veterans.
Because the church was built in 1908 and has sat empty the last 7 years, major renovations and repairs are needed in order to make this dream a reality.
It's going to make this property a county icon as a place to go for veterans for whatever reason.
Renovations will take a few years. This project is expected to cost between $2 and $3 million, so grants and community donations are really important. Down the road, war artifacts will be accepted locally for the museum. For Pocono Television Network, I'm Brianna Strunk.
Still to come on Pocono Mountains Magazine, the backstory on how JFK ended up calling Milford's native son the father of conservation, and how you can get involved this Earth Day and beyond, helping to pick up the Poconos. And just like Brianna said earlier, we're looking to the experts for this indoor adventure, plus another hidden gem where getting out is the name of the game.
Hospitality in the Poconos is an up-and-coming growing feature.
Personally, what I love about being in the hospitality industry and food and beverage is the creativity that we're allowed to have.
So you can start out in a part-time position, and really if you fall in love with it, you can look at full-time positions and really start to grow.
You're part of a family here.
We do have great income in the Poconos.
Pocono hospitality, it's not just our job, it's our passion and our way of life.
From birds to birdies, nature and golf go hand in hand in the Pocono Mountains. Tee off across the region and save by purchasing a Golf Around card and play twice at participating courses for just $30 per round, card included. Find out more information at PoconoMountains.com.
Right.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim Hamill. Welcome back to Pocono Mountains Magazine for March. Now, next month is Earth Day, and Earth Day is an opportunity for all of us to appreciate our natural surroundings and take care of Mother Earth, because we, of course, only have one. And here in the Pocono Mountains, this place, Milford, has a very special history with relation to conservation. This is where the conservation movement was born many years ago from somebody who had a very special attachment to Milford and the Poconos.
Nestled along the Delaware River, Milford is another historic town in the Poconos, but not just any historic town. From this spot in Pike County grew out a nationwide conservation movement started by one of Milford's favorite sons, Gifford Pinchot.
James Pinchot raised Gifford to be interested in this. Forestry was emerging as a profession in Germany and in France.
The Pinchot family called Gray Towers home. Now, it's a National Historic Site run by the Forestry Service, the same Forestry Service Pinchot kickstarted for a young country just starting to learn the importance of conservation at the turn of the 20th century. Milford's Mayor Sean Strube explains how new this concept was to conserve natural resources at the time.
Forestry was where we first thought about conservation and the environment. In the 19th century, no one thought about running out of clean air. If the air is dirty, walk over there. No one thought about running out of clean water, but forests you could see. It was a forest, then it was clear cut.
Pinchot would be the first head of the U.S. Forestry Service under President Teddy Roosevelt, and eventually he became governor of Pennsylvania. And in the 1960s, President Kennedy dedicated Gray Towers in Milford, calling Pinchot,
"He was more than a forester. He was the father of American conservation."
Jared Simister oversees the tours and a lot of the living history at Gray Towers in Milford. That lasting legacy is something that Milford and the Pinchot family helped take root across the country and right here in the Poconos.
As President Kennedy said in his dedication speech at Gray Towers here, that in the field of natural resources, the opportunities that are now lost to us can never be won back. So really, timing was everything. I think we're incredibly fortunate that the Gifford Pinchot legacy started when it did.
Gray Towers is open for tours in the warmer months and is a marvel to visit and learn about how the conservation movement was born here and grew into what it is today. Earth Day, coming up next month, is a way for us all to appreciate the nature that surrounds us and the importance of carrying on Pinchot's and others' work.
That feeling of personal responsibility is still very much at the core of the conservation movement. Every Earth Day, you'll see people out on the side of the road picking up garbage, either individually or part of larger groups, and I think conservation is still in many ways a grassroots movement.
Mayor Strube, who also owns and operates the historic Hotel Faucher in downtown Milford, is reminded of many ways this community is living out its legacy as the birthplace of conservation.
We have a town that takes pride in what our borough looks like. When you see litter in our area, to me, litter is a sign of people who don't feel a connection to that place. They don't care about that place. And if you cultivate a sense of belonging and community and ownership, collective ownership of where we live, people are less likely to litter. Kids are less likely to spray paint, graffiti.
Ways both big and small to celebrate upcoming Earth Day, and the conservation movement started right here in the Pocono Mountains. Wondering how you can get involved around Earth Day 2021 and beyond? There are lots of chances to help pick up the Poconos and help take care of our beautiful region. Here's one.
We went from one person in 2017.
Mike Coppola started the group Keep Holly Honesdale Beautiful 4 years ago.
In 2019, we were up to 8 groups and 16 miles, and then it just exploded. It took off. And we're up to now 25 groups of 50 miles. And those 50 miles stretch from Narrowsburg, New York, to Waymart, and from Hemlock Farms up to Pleasant Mount now.
With the help of social media and a growing number of volunteers, KHHB was able to take more than 750 bags of litter off area roads last year alone. And they're gearing up to do more cleanups, including around Earth Day, the week of April 22nd this year.
It's something that not everybody wants to do or likes to do, picking up other people's garbage. However, I gotta say that everybody that does come out to help us, there is a real sense of accomplishment, of contribution, and it is a nice feeling when you're done.
To find out how you can join in the effort with Keep Holly Honesdale Beautiful and the overall Pick Up the Poconos campaign, you can go to pickupthepoconos.com for a list of volunteer events near you. Watch for how you can sign up for the 4th annual Pick Up the Poconos Day in late September.
There's so much history throughout the Pocono Mountains, including here at the Castle Inn in Delaware Water Gap, where you could get your family together and come for a guided tour offered every Saturday and Sunday. So let's head inside to step back in time.
Welcome to the Castle Inn. My name is Scott Fabian, and I'll be your tour guide for today.
Built in 1906, this was a grand resort in Delaware Water Gap's heyday.
Delaware Water Gap was the second most popular inland destination in the United States, next to Sarasota Springs.
Every year, the nearby train station was a revolving door for more than 500,000 tourists from New York and Philadelphia.
And it was a lot like the movie Dirty Dancing. You didn't just come for a weekend, you would come out for the whole summer to escape the heat of the city.
The resort boasted an apothecary, bowling alleys, pool tables, a dance floor, and running spring water in all 52 hotel rooms.
Which was unusual for back then.
At one point, the Castle Inn served as a training camp for famous boxers, including James Braddock, known as the Cinderella Man.
It was considered perfect because it was far from the distractions of the city, and it had the fresh, clean air, mountain air. They could run up and down the mountainside for exercise.
The Castle Inn functioned as a resort through 1952. Then, legendary entertainer Fred Waring bought the property, and it became the hub for his music empire. When his blockbuster band, the Pennsylvanians, was not on tour, the group rehearsed and recorded at the Castle Inn. The inn also hosted Waring's famous choral workshop.
Every summer, over 1,000 students from all 50 states and Canada came to the Castle Inn to learn his specific style of singing.
As Waring's popularity grew, so did the demands for his unique arrangements. In response, he founded Shawnee Press, which operated from the Castle Inn.
That was the world's largest educational music printing company. It printed sheet music for high school and college students.
He also developed the Waring blender, which became a staple in restaurants and homes. He did business from the Castle Inn.
And since vaccines are such big talk nowadays, Dr. Jonas Salk used a Waring blender to invent the polio vaccine.
Eventually, the inn became abandoned. Teresa and Frank Paccioni became the new owners in 2005.
And we just fell in love with it.
The Paccionis restored the Castle Inn, bringing back the old-fashioned ice cream parlor, converting hotel rooms into office space, transforming the former dining hall into an event center, and adding unique shops.
We wanted to make it a commercial rental space, but we wanted to preserve the history.
And they did it from the ground up. The couple spent months scraping away at the floor to uncover its original tile. They've also added their own personal touches, like this mirror from New York City's Plaza Hotel, and this vintage couch from the former Mount Airy Lodge.
It's a very important local piece of history, we think. We're very happy that we have saved it so far.
And this is just a sneak peek. You can come out and take the full guided tour happening every Saturday and Sunday. You can find more information on tourthecastle.com. And while you're here in the borough of Delaware Water Gap, there is so much to see and do. With the Appalachian Trail, a winding river, eclectic shops, and a vibrant jazz scene, Delaware Water Gap is a true gem. Here's a sneak peek of The Delaware Water Gap by local filmmaker Chris King. Catch the full video on Pocono Television Network or PoconoMountains.com.
Some of the musicians were sitting around having a few pops, and they decided, we can't wait to sit in. There's too many of us, and there's only one piano player.
They said, let's do this outside once a year. And they created this really small jazz festival that then grew to be thousands of people.
Vaccines will be the way we're going to beat COVID. Until they're available, you may have questions. What are the facts?
Rest assured, the vaccine is safe. I've received it, and so have many of my colleagues.
It's our best chance to get back to life as normal.
The sooner you're vaccinated, the sooner we can all breathe easier.
You and everyone around you will benefit from the COVID-19 vaccine.
Need more info? Visit PoconoMountains.com/COVID-19.
Get yours and get protected.
Extraordinary care. Outstanding patient experience. Accessible services. When you choose St. Luke's Monroe campus, you choose compassionate care delivered by our highly trained staff of healthcare professionals, all powered by the strength of St. Luke's University Health Network.
We throw trash and recycling in the correct bins. What about cigarettes? When you flick a filter, you're littering plastic. We need to trash cigarettes the right way. Keep America beautiful, and Monroe County's Waste Authority wants us all to live without litter. The Poconos is not your ashtray.
Finally here on Pocono Mountains Magazine, we wanted to take aim at some of the more hidden gems here in the Pocono Mountains. As I mentioned earlier, we're at Pocono Axe Works near Lake Wallenpaupack, and it's a good place to get indoors away from the cold. And there's also a place where people like to escape, Trapdoor Escape Room in Bartonsville. So let's take aim and find out how you can really hone in your skills here in the Poconos this March.
The adrenaline, the addictiveness to it, the adventure part of it, the challenge.
With a dozen lanes for axe throwing inside Pocono Axe Works near Hawley, it's the perfect indoor adventure for anyone looking to sharpen their throwing skills.
It's a very short learning curve on figuring it out. Everything is about finding your throw, and we have a number of experts, and that's what we call ourselves, who are really good at coaching.
Small groups have been coming out to Axe Works to escape the cabin fever this winter, spending an hour or two taking aim and discovering this hidden gem. It's a new venture for owner Mark Krauthamel, who has roped in some local breweries for weekly axe throwing leagues.
We did a fall league, so we've got a lot of locals that come back every week. We did it on Thursdays in the fall, and now it's a winter league, and it's on Wednesday nights. And what a community of guys and girls that are, I mean, they're hitting really high scores.
From high scores.
Error, wrong password.
To escape strategies, Trapdoor Escape in Bartonsville has been giving people of all ages a similar outlet during these past months, and it's not the escape room concept you might be familiar with.
We've always been story-based, objective-based, so our games are, Cure Z, find the cure, create the cure for the zombie apocalypse. F5 tornado escape, hunker down and get shelter from the incoming tornado. Fear the boogeyman, find the kids and rescue them from the boogeyman.
These 2,000 to 3,000 square foot experiences in a plaza along Route 611 are elaborate and involved. Players come from all around to experience these stories and find their way to the finish 7 days a week, even holidays.
They say right now we're in the experience economy, and I 100% believe that to be true. People have been locked down for a while, and people need escapism, and that's what we excel at, is escapism. We create worlds that you can go, escape in.
Owner Tony Przicki took us on a tour of F5, a tornado escape course where you have to survive the coming twister.
Uh-oh. We lost power.
There are realistic cornstalks and wind and puzzles hidden throughout this expansive game, and all of it is private to just you and your group.
People love that adventure, and the tornado escape, it's very physical, it's getting people active again and getting them into an environment where they can really push their boundaries a bit and forget the world outside of these doors.
2 hidden gems in the Poconos. 1, an escape.
Sometimes it takes a little bit to get your throw, to figure out what your throw is, and then once you figure it out, you don't want to stop.
The other, a way to release some energy in any season or any weather. Find Pocono Axe Works and Trapdoor Escape on PoconoMountains.com. Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network.
Jim, I think we're finally getting the hang of this, but you can use a little more work, I think. Just a little.
Yeah, Brianna, don't mention it. I think I have a little bit of work to do to sharpen up my skills here at Pocono Axe Works. We want to thank the folks here for having us here at the facility near Lake Wallenpaupack for this edition of Pocono Mountains Magazine. And we're looking forward to a little warmer weather here as spring arrives, right?
Yeah, hopefully events will be ramping back up here in the Pocono Mountains. We're looking forward to hopefully county fairs, farmers markets. We have Wally Lake Fest coming up in late August.
Yeah.
So be sure to check those events on PoconoMountains.com/events.
Absolutely. And if we want to get back to somewhat normal too, we want to all continue to mask, social distance, and get that vaccine when it's your turn. So on behalf of everybody here at the show, thank you for watching this Pocono Mountains Magazine. We'll see you next month.
We'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the Pocono Tourism YouTube channel and click the bell button below to be the first to watch new videos. You can also click the link on the screen to watch more episodes of Pocono Mountains Magazine.